Hi there, I'm Neil from Clutch,
And this is Jean-Paul from Clutch.
and you're watching Berlin Music TV.
Well, we've known Jim Bob, who plays in Hark, for many years now, probably coming up on 15 or 16 years, when he used to play in a band called Taint. And we played a lot of shows together. And Jim Bob is somebody who's continued to play music, and he's been involved in some artwork that we've done. And he's just an all-around creative guy. So when he approached Neil about doing the tour, we said, sure, let's throw you guys on. And it's great. It's a good bill. The bands complement one another.
What's this about limits? Sorry, I don't know none. What's this about some TV limit? Sorry, I can't hear none. You can take a little cruise down the river of booze, act all poor and defeated. Shout to the mountains some boo-hoo blues, but I stand here and repeat it. I'm a rocker.
Our last tour as a support band was it Thin Lizzy?
Yes.
Yeah, Thin Lizzy in the UK. It was fantastic. Watching that band play a set is pretty amazing because you don't realize how many fantastic songs they really do have, and you hear them one after another, and you know every single one of them. And all great players, great guys. And I hear that they're going to record a record under a different name, minus Brian Downey. But it was a good time. Watched them every night.
That's kind of hard to say. Probably the region of the country that we do the best in is probably the Midwest. So we're talking about towns like Columbus, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and all the way into Kansas. There's really quite a fan base in the Midwest, and as we go along, the West Coast continues to grow, and the East Coast has always been where we've always done the most of our touring, the meat of it. Cities like Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and Boston, New York, all over New Jersey.
If you're gonna do it live on stage, or don't do it at all. If you're gonna do it, you better take it to the stage, or don't do it at all. I will suffer no evil. My guitar will guide me through. I will suffer no evil. And this time I want to hear it from you. I'm a rocker.
This tour is a promotional tour, and we're playing kind of reservedly. You know, we would rather pack out a smaller club than have fill a huge one. But things have really turned around for us here in Germany in the recent years. You know, we played the Knock Club for year after year after year, which is even smaller, as I'm sure you know. And it's got nothing to do with the label, because we are the label. And believe me, if we wanted, if we could, we would play as large places as would allow. But Germany it's been a bit slower than the United States and the UK. Why, I don't know, but the shows keep getting better, and I think a lot of that has to do with the amount of festivals that we've been able to play, and and the internet, for that matter.
great gigs. The reaction from the audience is very positive. There's something very exciting about playing in Germany. For me, it reminds me very much of the Midwest, in that folks are really fired up about the shows, and they get emotional at the shows, and that they drink a lot and sing along and have a good time, and that's what we're all about.
We played a good number of these songs live before we recorded them, and we've been playing these songs, maybe 3-4 songs from the record a night. It was a good idea to play these songs live before we recorded it, because no matter how many times you played in the studio, it's just not the same than doing it on stage. It's a much more truthful test of a song's worth, or weaknesses and strong points. And people already know Earth Rocker. It's pretty amazing.
I don't think there are a lot of parallels between Germantown, Maryland, and Germany, other than people like rock and roll back home, and they like it over here. And I know that people in Germantown like beer, and people over here like beer. So
Break it down to brass tacks. Break it down to just the facts. I don't need your sticky laminate. I don't need your VIP. I don't need your validation. 'Cause I wear mine on the sleeve. Don't look to me for answers. 'Cause I don't got a while. I just came to have a good time. And I'm gonna have one. Yes, I've lost many battles. And even more days. But if I had to do it over, I'd do it just the same. 'Cause I'm a earth rocker.
Speaking for myself, the biggest shows, I guess strictly by numbers, would be festivals. And psychologically, for some reason, for me, when you look out on a sea of faces like that, it's not as intimidating. It's less personal, and it becomes more like TV static when all the heads and faces are this small. I tend to get much more nervous in a smaller club when they're right up in the face, and that's I think it's good to be nervous. It's a good energy that you can tap into to perform, and sometimes it's a bit of a head game, but you can get into a routine on tour, and I find usually that's when I start making the most mistakes, is when I just stop thinking about it and I stop getting scared. It's important to have a little bit of fear, I think.
right. Well, that's where that feeling of repetition comes in, or routine comes in, and as a musician, I think that's a very dangerous place to be in. You never want your music to become something that you sort of just regurgitate at will. So I think it's important to mix things up as best you can. As far as having the same team around and your same crew, that's a great feeling, because you know that these guys are guys that you've depended on up until this point. You know that your gear is going to be a certain way and the sound is going to be a certain way, and I know those guys take a tremendous amount of pride in what they do. So there is that feeling of sort of being very comfortable in that setting. But at the same time, we make an effort to keep the music sort of as spontaneous as possible.
Usually I'm so exhausted by that point it doesn't even matter. But a tour, there's a momentum and a rhythm you get into it. The last show, sometimes you're not even thinking about, I don't even think about it. But I also treat that show with as much importance as I would the first show, as I just, regardless of the size. I think it's important to play as if it were your last show ever. Like, what are people going to remember you by? You don't want to turn your last show into a circus because you're going home, and those people paid to see you play, and just much as the first people, they deserve it.
'Cause I'm a earth rocker. Everybody hear me now. I'm an earth rocker. Everybody get the message. I'm an earth rocker. Understand. Everybody get the message.
Very difficult spot to be in. For us, perhaps the most difficult. I know that we have a very tough time naming records, and sequencing them can be very difficult. This record was a little bit different in that, we work with Machine, who we've worked with before, and he had a very specific idea as how the sequence would go. And I think we kind of relied on him a little bit more than we normally do to put the songs together. And that probably has a lot to do with the fact that we spent so much time with the material leading up to the recording of the record. This has been a long break since we did Strange Cousins. So for us, we've been working on the songs for a long time. We demoed the songs at least once, in some cases twice. And to have the input of Machine, I think, was very helpful in the sequence of the record.
You got to have flip-flops, because you don't want to walk into a toilet in a bus without flip-flops. Trust me. Coffee, aspirin, good book, your cell phone. That's the first thing that come to my mind.
Rolling papers.